All right, guys, does anyone know how many Glycine Combat Subs exist? How many different colorways? Because I have no idea. Every time I get one on the channel, I have to double check to make sure I didn't already make a video on it. And I look, and I've done like a ton of them. A bunch of other people have done videos, but there's just always more. In fact, I just noticed there's this, again, snapshot in time. Today is August 27th, 2020. And there's a current active drop going on right now, and they're calling the vintage Combat Subs. Really cool looking dials. They have some texture and different colors. I'll put a link in the description. Those are priced at $345. There's some really good looking ones. And then again, snapshot in time, this actual model along with some others are over on Joma Shop right now for like a return to college type sale at only $329. So you're talking these watches are under $350, somewhere in between, $330 to $350 range, brand new. And they have the Swiss movement. So it's the Glycine GL224, which could either be a ETA 2824 or it could be a Sellita SW200, depending on, they're basically kind of the same movement, just a different jewel count, 25 versus 26. But anyway, let's get into the specs on this, just in case this is for some reason your first time watching a video on the Glycine Combat Sub. It is a 42 millimeter case, 50 lug to lug, and you can see this thing is crazy thin at only 10.7. So it's almost like 10.5 millimeter thick. Flat sapphire crystal up top. I believe there's a little bit of AR coating on the underside of that. 22 millimeter lug width bracelet, has a slight taper down to 20, and you have kind of a simple standard type clasp system here. You have the milled out center part, and then the rest of it's stamped. You have 4 micro adjust, kind of like a lot of micro brands and even some Seikos potentially. But screw down case back. This one's all polished, depending on what generation you're looking at, because these have been out for a while, but now like Invicta owns Glycine, so there were some changes. And the hardcore fans can probably comment down below. There was definitely some logo changes and other things throughout the generations. I don't know or care enough to get into that. This one actually still has the protective coating on the back. This was actually sent in by my buddy Danny. He sent in a few brand new watches in the box. He never wore them. So 60 click bezel on this. You can see it has the aluminum bezel insert, which ceramic is really cool because it's so like scratch and resistant. I mean, it can break if you take a hard hit to it, but it's so hard to get that reflective color that aluminum gets, and it's a special color, especially when you have the blue or a Pepsi, like a blue and red. The blues look so good with the aluminum. It's just, they do. So nice tight bezel. There's like no play, no backspin. It's super solid and lines up perfect. So no complaints there. And if we zoom in and take a look at the dial, you can see it has a really brilliant blue there. You have everything's printed on the dial. And then you have small indices with lume around the outside, and then you have all the Arabics printed in black, framed in white. So nice contrast, super legible, and very cool hand set there. Kind of almost Mercedes-like, but it doesn't have the divider, so I don't know what else you would call that. Nice framed out, simple date window there. Oversized crown. Crown is like 7.4 millimeter. And again, just like every Glycine Combat Sub I've had on the channel, nice pop to it, and the crown is like super solid. This one actually has a touch of wobble, but typically there's like no wobble, and they line right up. So you can hack and wind and all that stuff. So let me pop this on wrist so you can get a look of the Combat Sub. Now it's not sized, and I believe these use split pins. I could be wrong, but yeah, they use, looks like split pin. I don't think it's pin and collar. I think it's split pin. But you can see there on my 7¼ inch wrist, it hugs the wrist really good. I mean, there's people that have posted up, both in the comments, their own videos, Instagram, wherever you want to look. There's people with a lot smaller wrist than mine wearing these Combat Subs, and it's because of that dramatic turn down, how it just contours, and it doesn't really overhang. So if your wrist is smaller or flat or whatever, it doesn't really overhang. It kind of just follows the contour of your arm. So nice, clean wearing watch for sure. I don't know. I'm digging them. I'm surprised I don't own one, but I don't know. I'm trying to have a smaller collection. So I could see why people like these and own them. And there's certainly a colorway out there that is going to pique your interest, even if you just want one. Definitely, like this blue one is very vibrant, but go check out the link in the description to the drop. Check out those antique ones. Some unique colorways they did there, and I like the texture dial because it's just, I have not noticed that before. So let me kill the light so you can get a lume picture on this. I don't, if I remember right, the Glycine I've had in the past on the channel are not like lume monsters. It would be kind of cool if that's one thing they could improve potentially, like put some C3X1 on there or something. I don't know. We just did that video on that NTH. That's some lume. So yeah, you can see the lume is okay. You know, the pip, the hour, minute, and second are brighter. The printed on stuff on the dial is a little more dim, and it looks like it's maybe even fading a little bit. So if it is C3, it's a weak application. It could potentially even be C1, but I think it's C3 on the hands and pip and all that stuff, and even the printing on the dial, it's probably just a weaker application. It's smaller amounts and not as many layers. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next vid.